Episode 55 of Back Issue Book Club. We're going to be reviewing Saga issues 31 through 42. Stick around. Welcome back, family. This is Team Ohana. I'm your host, Rich. And I, in the last week, have read Saga issues 31 through 42, 12 issues. And without any delay, I'm still loving it, so that's good. It's getting harder to write notes about it. That's one of the things about this is, I don't want to, I get so enthralled in the story, I don't want to stop in the middle of it to jot a note down, and then I get to the end of the book, and I'm like, I got to write some kind of note down, but I want to get into the next book right away. It really does suck you in. So, and for some reason, I've been very, very lucky. In the arcs that I'm reading seem to be like full little chapters of stories, which is really, really good. Like if I stopped at issue number 41, it would have been like a little bit of a cliffhanger to and still needed to be resolved in issue 42. But issue 42 or before where I stopped at 30 last week, it seemed like that was the end of a specific little story arc. And I've been lucky that way, so I'm going to continue another 12 issues next week. I don't know if... excuse me, issue 52... 4... issue number 54 is also the end of an arc. I'll find out when I get there. But let's get right into what we're finding out here. So yeah, we're starting off at issue number 31. So now, yeah, it seems like Hazel's around 4 or 5 now. So again, she's aging. At the end, she's now in the detainee classroom re-education camp, I guess you'd say, along with Granny and one of the kidnappers, or one of the resistance, which she refers to as Auntie Lexus. Yeah, no relation to the car. But apparently the time that they've spent together, the Granny and the Auntie have kind of put their differences aside and are just doing what they can to get through this internment camp and keep Hazel safe. Hazel has bonded with her teacher, who, even though she's working for the winged faction, she's there doing a job. She doesn't hold, I guess, an opinion of one side or the other. She considers herself to be an educator, open and fair, and she does take a liking to Hazel. And she tells Hazel, you can trust me, you can tell me things if you need to. And as a reader, you're kind of suspicious of that, like trying to get, you're in a prison basically, and somebody's like, oh yeah, you can trust me. Never trust anybody who says they can trust you. That being said, though, she does show the teacher her wings, which there is another one of the, I'm just going to say horns because I can't remember the names of of all the different species in this show, in this saga. But he is a transgender. They seem to be covering all bases in this this series. They have homosexual, they have fantasies, they have child pornography, they have anything that's Las Vegas and back streets of Japan, anything you could think of that's depraved, they cover like as part of a normal world. That didn't come out right. I don't want to make it sound like they're covering all bases of the LGBTQ community, yes. They're also covering a lot of other things, like finding Sophie, which was at the time a 5-6-year-old prostitute. So that is the kind of thing you would find, I think, more prevalently during wartime. Unfortunately. So they write it in a way that's very matter of fact, and that's having you judge it one way or another. They want you to, I guess, pass judgment on yourself as the reader, which it's kind of harsh, but it's a good way of, you know, doing yourself a little reality check, a little self check. It's like if you ever watched the movie Django Unchained, they interviewed a lot of different actors and people in Hollywood that reacted to it at the premiere of it, and one of the actors said that they, you know, it seemed like they used a certain specific language, certain specific racial derogatory terms. I think you know what I'm talking about. Way too much in the show, and they found that the movie was very disturbing. And one of the actors in Django Unchained, basically his retort was, "You're supposed to be disturbed by it. If you're not disturbed by it, there's something wrong with you." And that was good. I like that. It's good to do a little self-checks from time to time. And this series helps you do it, let me tell you. What do you call it? So, we have Hazel showing the teacher the wings, and the teacher, of course, like, what the heck, and passing out. And the transgender horn person, I can't remember her name. And she stays around for quite a while. You don't know what her motivation is, but if she's going to turn Hazel in or not, but she actually helps to cover it up, and is kind of a hard case, even harder than Granny, but is realistic, is true. You know, there's no ulterior motives with her. If she doesn't like you, she'll tell you. If she thinks you're being stupid, she'll tell you. At the very beginning, you're wondering, is this person really dishonest? Yep, she is. So good for that character. Issue 32, we get into Mom and Dad are looking for Hazel, and I'm reading this, and they're like, oh, they said no sex. There's no sex while they're looking for their kid. And I read that, I'm like, oh, that's kind of disappointing. I thought it'd be cool because we know from earlier on that Hazel says, I'm not going to see my parents again for another few years. I think it would be kind of cool if they showed up with, oh, by the way, this is your baby brother, baby sister, right? But they said, at the beginning, they said they sworn off sex until they find her. And I'm kind of disappointed. I wanted a baby bro. And then I wrote at the end of the review, oh, never mind, LOL. That didn't last. Because they did something really exciting, and then the adrenaline rush, of course, they got jiggy with it again. So, and it was cool. It was done well. Issue 33, we had a short arc, kind of, and I haven't seen them back yet. But anyway, the reporters are back on the job. They found out that the brand was killed, which released them from her spell, which would be, if you discuss this, your head will explode. But then the will captures them. And I wrote at the end, I'm like, you know what, I'm really missing Lion Cat, which is kind of interesting because he has a dog. And I'm a dog person. I'm not a cat person. But I like Lion Cat, you know? So I'm like, all right, we got the will. We got this dog that shoots tranquilizer darts out of his nose. Whatever. But I mean, it works. But I miss Lion Cat. So issue 34. The will is overweight and crazy, but still beats the heck barehanded out of a giant moray eel. And I don't know, for some reason I'm watching this fight, and I'm like hearing the theme song for The Mandalorian in my head, you know? Ba-boom. Ba-ba-boom. Anyway. So it was kind of cool to see that, but you know that he's on heroin, which I don't think it meant it as the same as the heroines here on Earth, but more of like Wonder Woman is a heroine, the female version of a hero. So I think it's it's a drug that you take and you remember your first love. And he actually, over the next couple of books, he keeps going back and forth between was it the Stalk? Well, I think that was his girl's name, the one that got killed by Prince Robot, and his sister Sophie, which she's also dead, the Brand. So I don't, he did love his sister, obviously. But you can tell that he's out there, but I think he does know it too. Because at one point he actually even makes a reference like, wait, no, I heard something, and this is real. Like, unlike you, which I know you're a hallucination that I'm getting from the drugs, but it's he's aware of that hallucination being a hallucination, which is interesting in itself. The teacher, Noreen, offers to help Hazel escape. I'm like, okay, does that mean with Granny? With Aunt's, what do you call it, Lexus? Auntie Lexus? I don't know. Or is she just going to sneak the kid out? Because, I understand, yes, you would want to get a kid out of a prison. I get that. But would you want to separate her from her family? That's another question. So, now we got issue number 35, which is Operation Breakout Granny and Hazel starts. I'm thinking, okay, when they bust into the prison, or their re-education camp on landfall, will Hazel still be there, or will have Noreen already gotten around and like, missed her by that much, just, there's only so many times you can do that before it's really not believable, but, oh, and the Will finds the squire, the kid of can't say Prince Robot because he gets ticked off at that. Sir Robot or Knight Robot or whatever the heck he is, and Gus. And yo, Gus! Damn, man, that little seal, he just came over and just sliced the fingers right off of off the Will. Jeez. Oh, look at a cute little seal. That was funny. Okay, so issue 36. Oh. Yeah, I only put one note for the issue 36. And, yeah, I teared up. I did tear up at the end of this issue. Good tears, happy tears. This is the one where Marco ports into the prison after getting Prince Robot to help them, and he's imitating a Duke or whatever the heck level it was. It was a lower level, and I get the kick out of it. It's like, I don't look anything like this other robot. You all look like this. I'm like, yikes. I know what that's in reference to, but go ahead. Every stereotypical type of every other race from every other race on this planet. Which, by the way, there was a comment. There was something written in one of these books. It was earlier on. And it really is so true, and it's so deep, and it was so beautifully written. It was, we have so many problems with other peoples from other lands, from other species, from whatever, other races, religions, with other peoples. And it's not because we're so different from them. It's because we're so alike. And that is so true. If we were completely different, I don't think we'd have as many problems on this planet as we do. But we do. We have a lot of issues with other peoples, races, religions, and everything else. And we see in them what we don't want to see in ourselves. And it gives us a justification to do the things we do, like wars. And it's just, we are one world, one people. And we don't ever treat each other that way. And I really don't like the way that just, that phrase that was put in that book just held a mirror in front of my face and a mirror in front of humanity's face. It was spot on. Great job on the writers in this. They really drew so many parallels to everything that goes on here on Earth with just one species. Bear in mind that this saga is happening across multiple worlds, multiple moons, multiple asteroids, multiple everything, with multiple species. And I think that they get along with each other just about as poorly as we do here on Earth with only one species. So let's go colonize the universe, guys. We can't even get along with ourselves. Boy, I'm ranting here, but this book really does put you into a frame of mind where you need to get some introspection. That's nice. But anyway, at the very end of the episode, he gets in and he catches up just before Noreen is able to get through the checkpoint with Hazel, and he pulls out, was it Paco, Waka, whatever, the little doll that he went to get, back right before he lost her when she was like 2. He says, like, I realize you probably don't recognize me, but maybe you recognize the doll. I don't know, but, just I'm here for you. And she just comes rushing over. She's like, yeah, daddy, 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 and she's hugging him, like, yeah, I know who you are. I love you. I miss you. And I just like, I'm reading on my phone. I just had to put the phone. I'm like, all right, I need a minute. That was beautiful. I'm getting teared up in the comic book. I'm really getting emotionally invested in these characters, which hurts me in a few issues, by the way. Anyway, so also I put down the note in that one is Alana is preggers. I knew it. Yes, she's getting the baby, the baby brother that I wanted to be there for Hazel, but it is coming, and Hazel will be the big sister. Yes. Issue 37. So Robot is fantasizing about Alana. Okay. Now this is the first time that I felt the comic book crossed the vulgar line. And there was a point after this. It was just this, that one scene where he's fantasizing about Alana in the bed. That crossed the line for me as far as being vulgar. And I'm glad it was only one, and I just like, don't go down that road because you're going to lose me as a reader. And it was the only one going up to issue 42. I don't know what's coming up afterwards, but I'm just saying, that's the one. Started to get a little worried there. But not as worried as I was when we hit issue 38, where the robot says, look, I got to get off this planet, or asteroid, or whatever the heck they're on, and get back to my son. We've been here for 9 months, or 8 months. 8 months, because Alana's almost getting birth. Or 7 months, or whatever the hell it is. And he says, look, there's an embassy on the other side, and I'm going to go see if there's any fuel there. So Isabel says, look, I'm a ghost. I can go check it out for you, see if it's there before you go risk yourself to go get it. She runs into another bounty hunter. This is a two-headed one. I don't even remember what the heck the damn thing's name was. But it had weapons and restraining that could actually kill a spirit, a ghost, a horror. And they used it, and they killed my favorite character in this series, Isabel. Now, I'm hoping Isabel comes back at some point, but I don't think they're going to. This seemed very permanent, even to the point where they're making arrangements for, making mention of Hazel being the babysitter to take over. And the cover of that particular issue was the first cover that I saw that had Hazel on it. I really would have loved to have more backstory to find out how long she'd actually been a ghost. I mean, she makes mention about her t-shirt being back from when her favorite group was still together, and the Horn character, transgender character that came with Marco and Hazel. By the way, leaving Granny and Alexis in the prison, where Granny said, look, I want to stay here. I want to stay here with my people. I'm an inspiration. I can, I'm going to help them get through this. I have a purpose again. So it's one of the things mothers want to have is a purpose. Very proud of you as a son. Go take care of your family. I got my own family here to take care of. So that's why. And he said, I don't know. She said, look, if she's not taking the spot, if Granny's not taking the spot, I'm taking it. So she came along. I don't even remember how I got onto this little rant here, but the fact that we've lost Isabel is just, I hate it. I hate it. I'm hoping that we, like I said, somehow comes back, but I don't think so. Isabel was on the cover, beautifully drawn cover, but makes me worry. Issue 39, we find out that Fang is being destroyed by a combination of the wings and the horns. So, or they're evacuating everybody, or it seemed like it's a joint-led idea between the two of them. It doesn't make any sense. So, I put myself a little thought here before I read number 40, saying I'm wondering if the whole war, everything in Saga, the whole war is BS. It's just a form of control, like the TV show was on in here. Nothing more profitable or controlling than war. If you can, I mean, that's some of the conspiracy theories about like 9/11 and whatnot, is if you can have, or if you've watched V for Vendetta, that's a perfect example as well. What's the best way to have a government that has total control of the people? It is to have the people afraid and feel that they need to have the government in control. I need to have a strong government and senates and Congress and the president and the military. I need them because look at all the enemies that the United States has, and we need that. So I'm so glad that we have all these people and everything else. But how do we know that, the head of North Korea, the head of Russia, they're not all getting together at some... It's like the WWE, where they're like, okay, look, you were a good wrestler last year. We're going to turn you into a bad guy next year, okay? And the crowd's going to hate you, but we're going to bring this guy in, and he's going to team up with that guy. And they're just writing the script for the entire world. And, has this been something that's been going on for generations? We don't know. For decades, for millennia, for mankind, we don't know. That's what I'm wondering is what's going on here, is if there really is no grand and glorious war, it's all propaganda, it's all media, and it's all the governments lying to their people to keep them subdued, and we're not your enemy, those are your enemy over there, and you go kill them before they kill you, and in the meantime, we're still in more control than we ever have been. And that works on both sides, so it makes me worry that is what's going on. So then I hit into issue number 40, and the March. Oh, the March was the two-headed, yeah. He just too cold-hearted, man. This is more than the Will ever was. I think more than the Stalk was. The Sir Robot is stoned, horny, and suicidal. Not a good combination. And Marco breaks his vow of non-violence to save everybody, which he does in a very strong way. But thankfully the March is gone, which I was not upset with one bit. You took away my favorite character. Issue 42, and I just wrote, wow. Wow, okay. So the whole family of the mere opossums, they're like meerkats and possums had a kid. Mere possums. They died on the asteroid, which crashes into a time suck. And it looked like it was going to miss the time suck, but then its undercover group of wings released something that's... the one with Sophie and the cat now. Hang on a second. Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn gave to the agent that was working with the Prince Robot this box. And we don't know what's in the box, okay? It's a glowy yellow box. It looks really magical. We don't know. It's Pandora's box. And this undercover ship with the winged forces, they shoot and destroy a monitoring robot command ship, their ally, and release what looks like a ghosty worm into the ear of the time suck. And it kind of reminds me of like the worm from Star Trek II Wrath of Khan that Khan drops inside Chekhov's ear, and it makes the time suck freak out, which then the asteroid Fang was supposed to just get past and go through the rings. It didn't, and it winds up killing them. And at the same time, the spaceship that Alana and Marco and everybody are on has a hard time taking off, but they finally do. But everybody gets thrown about, and Alana slams up against the wall and miscarries. And you're watching this entire family of mere possums, which you got kind of attached to, but you were worried about them, that there was something nefarious about them, the way that the other the new transgender horn being said, my whole platoon was wiped out by these things. Really? How bad were they? You got wiped out by Timones. And all they're doing is just, they're getting wiped out. And they never turned out to be malicious in any way. And you're grieving more for the unborn child than the entire family and whoever else was left on that asteroid. Could be thousands of people still left on the asteroid. They all died. And you're actually more upset about the child that you never got to see. And I'm thinking, and they make a point of that. And fade to black for like the last 2 pages. So really let it sink in for effect, which is really well done. I'll agree with that. I actually was more attached, especially since I was rooting for there to be a kid back in, let's see, where was it? Back in issue 32, when they first broke their vow of no sex, and issue 36 is where they find out that she's pregnant. So 6 issues have gone by. 36 actually is 37 if you count. It's inclusive. 36 at 42 is 7 issues. 7 issues we've seen we've known that Alana has been pregnant. Never saw the kid whatsoever, but you're mourning his death more than the characters you've actually seen on the screen. Listen to me. I got this playing as a movie in my head. Read in the book. So I still think that this is a great series. I realize I'm starting to catch up to print, which means there's going to come a point where I'm going to have to pick something else to read while I'm only reading this when it comes out. But for the time being, I'm going for another 12 issues. I will be doing issues 43 through 54 next week. Looking forward to that. And just as a bonus, I think I'm going to make sure I read my copy of Lilo and Stitch to see where that goes. Yes, and if you would like to make sure that you are reading along these crazy things with me, again, that's Lilo and Stitch #1, just for fun. And I'm going to read the Saga issues 43 through 54. Continuing with the same high ratings that I've given this series so far, still holding nice and strong at about an 8. I don't see any real lulls or down points. I don't see, other than the March, there haven't been any characters that I've like, oh, I hate this character. I like every character and every one of their little arcs of character development. I'm even starting to like Prince or Sir Robot or whatever the heck his title is these days. At least he's honest. Even in his stone state, he was saying, look, when he's going to blow his own head off, it was because he was saying to Alana, you're an amazing mother, and I want you to take care of my son. He deserves to have you, not me. It's stoned, but I think that a lot of times when people get stoned, it just turns off their filters, and they're more honest than they are with other things. So, guys, I'm going to wrap this up and let you make sure you go read whatever you need to read. Please put in the comments if there's anything specific that you think I should be reading as well, and I will try to make sure that I add those to the list. If you're catching this on Thursday, it means thanking you for being a Patreon, a YouTube subscriber. But if you'd like to catch it earlier, this will be going up on Sunday nights, 4 days in advance, on Patreon, and as on our Patreon for our coconuts, as we call them, which you can catch us by going to Patreon/Team Ohana. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Click on those notifications so you know when more videos are dropping. Until I see you in the next video, mahalo.